today. So 2020 came along, and if you would have asked me in February 2020, can you sell $1 million custom home sight unseen? I would have said, forget about it, you know. And then literally like May of 2020, I had clients that were selling $1 million custom homes sight unseen, where essentially they did all of their work online. So I know that one of the hot topics today, especially with larger production builders, is can I sell a home online? You know, the buy it now button, you know, the eBay model or the Amazon type model. I have mixed feelings on it because I think there's so many things that go into it. In one hand, it would be like, yeah, I would love to do that from a marketing standpoint. Could I make that sale without having to talk to anybody? But on the other hand, I'm a little bit nervous about leading somebody down a road that maybe is not proven yet, or I'm going against human nature, meaning that what's the human component? Can I really pull that out of the equation? But I'd really like to get your thoughts, Craig, because I
Yeah.
know you've dealt with this. What are your thoughts on this buying a home without the human element?
Well, I think, Rick, my first thought is, gosh, that's a whole nother show. We get
Yeah,
get together.
right. I know.
Yeah, right. But I guess my quick reaction to it is, first of all, everything we've talked about today comes before that. Right.
Mhm.
So we have to do all of those other things first, right? Because now you're talking about someone who hasn't visited and needs even more information on the website to be able to make, again, they're trying to make a decision. They don't want to make a mistake. What do you do to help them feel comfortable with that decision? I personally believe that adding transactional tools to the website is going to be kind of become standard for a lot of builders. I do not believe that the unassisted home purchase is going to be the norm. I still think that, and I don't even think necessarily it'll be the unvisited home will be the norm, but I think this idea that I'm still going to have questions, I'm still going to want to talk to a person. I still may want to come walk models or walk there or drive the community or whatever, but then I may go home and say, okay, now that I've looked at the three and I've narrowed in, I want to be on this street versus that street or whatever, I may come back home and make my final choice on the website and go ahead and make that purchase or that reservation, if you will, at 10 o'clock at night when the sales office is closed,
Okay.
because I finally, again, there's an emotional part of, we just made a decision. We want to move forward. We want to save it. We don't want somebody else to walk in tomorrow morning and get the one lot that we really want, and type of a thing. So that's an emotional decision too, right? That protect my decision kind of a thing that ties into it. So I see that being something that the website can help with. But I don't know that I've never talked to anybody. I've never asked a single question. It's 100% self-service. That I don't think it can happen, sure. But is it going to be the common path? I don't believe so.
And I think the same thing. I think the one potential difference there is that if I get a production builder that is building a condo builder or production type builder that has lots of spec homes out there and they've got great Matterport tours and they can say all the things are clicking right, that potential you can make that transaction online. But I do agree, at least right now, would be the exception to the rule. Now, you mentioned one thing. You mentioned transactional tool. And I know you work a lot with e-commerce, but do you define transactional tool as, let's say I go out and I drive the community and I see a home site that I love, that I could go back on the website and I could like essentially reserve my home site and I could go through and I could sign a contract and maybe put down a deposit on a credit card in order to reserve that site? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. When I talk about a transaction, right, it's some type of transaction where there's a payment involved, right? Where
Okay.
or a contract type of DocuSign or whatnot,
Yep.
similar tool to make an agreement that has some force. Now it may not be done. Right. It may be holding it for 72 hours until, or something like or a reservation or something, so that I know that I've got that protected for me until I can get there and make the appointment. Sure. Or it could be, possible to move all the way through that. And we're moving earnest money around and all kinds of things. Taking credit card payments online is something we learned how to do a long time ago. Exactly. So that's not new.
Signing documents electronically, virtually everybody does as well. So that's something that's, I think, most consumers are comfortable with as well. It's just a matter of putting the ability for the new home prospective buyer to do it without the assist of a salesperson, like having to manually send it to them, having it there and say, yeah, I want to request a reserve. So yeah, that's interesting. I do agree with that, and I think that was, like you said, that's today. That's right now. Someone can be doing that, especially if you're in a hot community and you want to do some sort of a launch and create a interest list, where somebody's interested in a new phase or a new community coming out, and then you allow them to opt in by putting some money down, like to get first right of refusal for a choice in that community.